right. Welcome to Gen X Rated Saturday edition. Yes.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. It feels almost like a Sunday.
Exactly. But it's a
Yeah.
makeup from a Thursday because everybody was sick in the holiday.
Yeah, something going around, that's for sure. So hopefully, we're all on the road to recovery.
Well, you look a little better than yesterday, but
Yeah,
I know
yesterday was rough.
it's a lingerer. So
Yeah, it's hanging
pace,
around.
pace yourself today. I don't want you overexerting too much.
All right.
And we'll do our best just to get some information out there that you can use.
Okay.
Um, I hate to start here, but I'm going to put these guys up. Um, we did see the flash flooding in Texas yesterday. Pretty
Yeah.
dramatic.
Yeah.
For a county, there's a Christian camp for girls that apparently Kerr County, who was quick to blame NOAA for all of this and the National Weather Service because they didn't give them enough warning. They didn't realize these ladies were at camp. So there was no real evacuating. I'm sure we've all seen stories about it, but a couple of the girls were washed 12 miles down the river.
Oh man.
Were rescued in trees, etc. The effort to save these people was pretty dramatic and pretty well done, but I found it extremely disappointing to come to the officials, Abbott being one of them, and they just went after NOAA and they went after the National Weather Service. These people all supported these cuts to NOAA. We don't even get hurricane warnings. There's a tropical storm off the coast of the Carolinas. It's a one sentence saying could turn into a hurricane. That's what we get now. You asked for it though, right?
Well, it's going to be like COVID was in Trump's first term. It's just going to disappear. It's going to go away. Not to worry about it. I mean, these people clearly do not give a damn about anybody or anything. And, you know, and you'd think Texas, they would, they might remember the hurricane in 1900 that wiped out Galveston.
No chance.
Yeah. So essentially, they've gone back to that same weather predicting system. And again, this was done voluntarily through these cuts. And my understanding is that Whiskey Pete Hegseth made the call to shut those satellites off or to shut off their access
Yeah,
to
the
those
Department of
satellites.
Defense. You're absolutely correct. That was his call. Um, I mean, it's all in Project 2025, which is really upsetting. I'm not going to go into it because I'm completely against it, but the ideological dismantling of NOAA and the National Weather Service is on page 674 of the great 2025 project. I mean, don't come back later and start blaming the people as you cut 139 employees from the EPA, putting them on leave and criticizing them, or they criticize Trump's policies because everybody sees what they're doing and the dismantling of our safeguards. They were suspended because they spoke up. NOAA's budget was cut over 25%, including 74% cut in its climate science division. It's like we don't even want to know the science, but then when it comes, that water rose 26 feet in 30 minutes.
I mean, that's insane. That's mind-boggling.
I don't know if you've ever been in a flash flood. We had a friend who was in her car. It's terrifying. It comes out of nowhere and you're trapped. Some of the stories from yesterday, you had people sailing by in their car screaming for help. What do you do? I mean, when you start seeing homes and stuff go by and cars through this water, it's just mind-blowing, as you said.
Yeah, it's crazy. And, granted, you can't stop it from happening, but when you take away any kind of warning that people have, that's just you're being criminally irresponsible.
Here's some more. I know it flowed through San Antonio as well. They had some major flooding. On top of this, we've eliminated 200 meteorologists and Doppler radars. We did this was with intent. This wasn't something that accidentally happened. Here's some of the remnants once the water goes down. I will say where that was yesterday, waters were not going down. Waters as of 8 a.m. this morning were still rising. You can see the damage that's done. I mean, it's insane. Um, but again, we kind of asked for this. This was in the big, beautiful bill that we talked about. All of this was in it. Maybe somebody didn't read it, but you don't go within less than 24 hours from this accident and start blaming other people. You were
That's what they do, though. That's what they did after the Uvalde shooting,
yeah.
when the cops refused to go in and do their job, and they blame people. They blame the parents. They blame the school. These people are so good at pointing the finger and blaming their fucking messes on somebody else. It's disgusting. This whole Republican Party is disgusting. All they do is fucking cause problems and then point the finger when these problems occur, because they're going to occur because they've caused the problem.
Yeah.
It's like just it's just like a circular firing squad. It's insane.
Well, and you always say with RFK Jr., it's like he doesn't even want the job. And that was my first thought with some of these people. You're at the podium. This was before Hot Wheels Abbott came in, but you're at the podium and you're assigning blame. Why are you at the podium? Why did you take that job? It's about public safety, and instead you're just saying, "Not my problem, not my fault.
Yeah.
I'll do what I can, but hey, let's look at the Democrats. Let's look at Biden." I mean, like none of that factors in. Can we get over the Biden stuff already? He's been out of office for 6 months. We're into 7 months now. This is your guys' baby, all of it.
Yeah, for real. I mean, when are people going to wake up and realize that they've been played? I just don't get it. I don't get, unless you're just so deep in that you drank the Kool-Aid and you're asking for more and you're going to double down on everything. None of this makes any sense. These are not serious people. The only thing they're serious about is lining the pockets of billionaires and increasing the executive authority and turning this into a police state. That's it. It's the only thing they care about.
Wow. You just said two mouthfuls there.
Mm-hmm.
The police state. We won't get too deep into it, but ICE is on their way to doing their thing. The big budget again that nobody really wants to talk about is what was in it for ICE. ICE now is bigger than the FBI, the U.S. Bureau of Prisons, and the DEA combined. This is the largest military budgets in the world. Of course, the U.S. is number one, baby. We're going to go with 987 billion. Next is China, 314 billion. That's about a third of what we spend. Number three in the world, ICE, 170 billion. More into that
Unbelievable.
ICE than Russia. Russia puts in 149 billion into their military. This is just insane. And what are we going to do with these guys? What's the end game with all this?
Well, what's the point even? The whole point of this was, well, we're just gonna get rid of the criminals, the rapists, and the murderers. You're just rounding up innocent people. That guy that was in the image you just showed was clearly on the job.
Yeah,
he's still wearing his protective gear, being hauled away for what? But that's what they're doing. They don't care. They just want to make Trump's numbers and fill these prisons. Oh, well, now we've got Alligator Alcatraz, and they're selling merch for it.
Oh,
I mean, these people are just despicable. And the people that are cheerleading for this, that voted for this, that think this is cool or think it's funny, watch your ass, because you know what? You could be next.
Any of us, frankly, as you said.
And it could be in any form. Maybe they won't come and lock you away, but maybe you'll lose your rural health care. Maybe you'll lose your Social Security. Maybe you won't get any broadband access. But one way or another, that leopard's going to bite your face too. So while you're applauding, I would keep that thought in the back of your mind, maybe, that you're not special. You're not a billionaire. You're not exempt from this.
Yeah, and to your point about Alcatraz, the signage is real. It's a thing that we have now. I'm just going to put it up real quick. It's a legit sign. This installation is not going anywhere. A lot of state reps have gone, just like we saw at the ICE facilities in Newark when they arrested the mayor. Have gone to make sure that people are okay at this facility. Once they started filing them in, they weren't allowed in. They kept them at arm's bay. They said, we have safety concerns. Now, that didn't stop the president from the media the day before putting on this big parade show inside and how great it is. They wouldn't allow these officials to come in and see what's going on, which is their right by law. There is no running water and there is no plumbing. Those were great videos of the toilets sitting there, but they don't actually work. So it's not good enough for you to come in and see, but it's good enough for detainees, and it's good enough for people that are pregnant because they have a snack schedule. If you have a certain some type of maybe diabetes, or if you're pregnant, or if you're a child, they do have some snacks for you. So don't worry.
I'm sure they do. Does anybody actually believe that? I mean, again, this is just, it's symbolic of this whole regime. It's a picture that just lies. It's a toilet that's not hooked up to anything. So if you've got to relieve yourself, you'll have to probably go and dig a hole or relieve yourself in your own water supply. This whole regime is just a photo op. That's all it is. There's no substance to it. The only purpose.
You can't sell merch without it. Just to put some real numbers to this, it's going to cost the taxpayers $89,425 to incarcerate one person for a year at Alligator Alcatraz. They're not going to be there a year, obviously, but this is numbers that are legit if you were there for a year, which is more than what 95% of Americans spend on their own housing and food.
Yeah.
I mean, give me a break. But we're paying for it. Now, DeSantis did say the feds are going to pay for this because he built all this on his own. But the bottom line is there's 5,000 beds there. It's going to cost $245 a day for each bed. That's a pretty nice hotel you could stay at for $250 a night.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. That's a pretty solid stay.
Yeah. So the problem is there is no plumbing. So.
Yeah, none of this makes any sense. These are not serious people. These are not people dedicated to the governing of the states or of this country, people that are looking to serve their constituents and make life better for us and uplift the country or the state. These are just not. These are people looking to increase their power and line their pockets and grease their friends. That's it.
Yeah.
It's a giant fucking grift.
Well, Palantir is the other where Trump came out and asked them to create a master database of every American.
How about that?
What Doge purpose was, get into Social Security, get everybody's information, your likes, your dislikes. ICE is pulling people out of the airport for having a Biden sticker on their bag, just to make sure, you're not from around here. We just want to know.
Yeah.
I mean, give me a fucking break. I got people that still have their first Bush Cheney stickers on their car. Should we round them up next?
Yeah, right. Well, and yesterday we were supposed to be celebrating, the Declaration of Independence, and all the things that were in that declaration have been just totally shit on by this regime. Yeah. They do not care, and it was granted everybody that in our circle was under the weather, but it was still a pretty solemn holiday. It felt more like a Remembrance Day.
Yeah. I would agree.
A celebration of what this country is. And Trump's already planning the next big one, the 250th anniversary. Oh, it's going to be great. We're going to have 250 statues. Like, get the fuck out of here. What is wrong with you?
A big UFC championship fight on the White House
lawn. White House lawn. I mean, that's like Putin style shit.
That's idiocracy. Okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't make that shit up.
It really is. Trump thinks it's a documentary. And it's turning into one. It looks like it actually was now.
And as you always say, he's very well versed in television. I mean, this is all made for TV, and he does it very well. There's no doubt. But I didn't realize the rest of us were a bunch of dupes that just like, hey, that is entertaining, because it really isn't that entertaining.
Yeah, it's like, if you think back to the monorail song in Springfield, the guy that came and sold it, that's Trump.
Yeah.
And when Marge tried to speak out against it, well, Main Street needs fixing. And Bart's like, sorry, Mom, the mob has spoken. As they all happily sing the monorail song.
That's right. Monorail.
Monorail. What's that? Monorail. Oh, maybe it's more of a Shelbyville thing.
It's definitely a Shelbyville idea. No. Here's some money. Stay. To that point, I'm just going to jump onto Medicaid and these Medicaid cuts because I think they're kind of important. Mm-hmm. This is one of the early proposals, $880 billion in cuts. Medicare covers not only what we see here, 31 million children are on Medicaid. It also covers 41% of all births in America. It's almost half of every birth in America. 7 million seniors rely on Medicaid. 1.8 million live in nursing homes where, guess who pays that bill? Mm-hmm. Medicaid. Yep, you're right. So in this great big bill, we're going to slash $1 trillion. I mean, what are we doing to our seniors? It's like unbelievable. And then after the fact, I see a lot of people commenting, well, those people should be working. Generally, it's for children, disabled, and the elderly. I saw several stories where people were taking care of like their in-laws or their mother who worked 45 years and then came down with a brain tumor. And now she needs assistance and she's of the age. And they're like, oh, well, you could at least work 20 hours a week. Well, that's not what the system was made for. It was made to help people that need it. Yeah. They're not given a stipend every month. They're not given these benefits. They're covered by these benefits if needed. So to me, it's, as you always say, it's cruel. It's just mean-spirited, and it's extremely un-American. Now you're taking $1 trillion away from this. It's unbelievable. Trump's in Iowa talking about the estate tax. Oh, I saved billions of family farms. First of all, there aren't billions of family farms in Iowa, even if you misspoke and said millions. But the bottom line is, if you do your research, the estate tax for an individual is $14 million. For a couple, it's $28 million. After that, then you're going to get hit with your estate tax. Yeah. And I know somebody else that passed with about $1 million, and they got hit at 35%. Sound familiar?
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. It really is.
And they're like, well, thank God they're saving the farmers. Well, no. And this argument's been going on for 45 plus years. I mean, the reality is that there is in place where they can buy insurance in case they have a catastrophic event, the head of the household dies, so that you don't lose your farm type of thing. So to me, you're just spinning it and making some other bullshit stories up. This estate tax affects 0.2% of this nation. 0.2% households are affected by this. But hey, you should really be worrying about it. The interesting part to me is that all the people that are like, yeah, they should get jobs. It didn't affect me. Well, I'm on TennCare, which is Tennessee's Medicaid. It does affect you. If you're in Oklahoma, it's called Sooner Care. No, they're not cutting your Medicaid. They're cutting your Sooner Care, which is Medicaid. Connecticut, Husky Health, cut. Maryland, or Massachusetts, Mass Health, gone. Vermont, Green, I don't know what it is, Monster Care or something, gone. Washington State, Apple Health, Medicaid. Call it what you want. It's being defunded, and you're not going to have it when you need it.
Yeah, it's true, but they don't care. And, here's the thing. But you're busy spending taxpayer dollars to round up and ship away people that do have jobs, people that do work, that do pay into the system and get nothing out of it. You're rounding them up and sending them away. Yeah. And that was a lot of revenue coming in from these people. And again, revenue taxes that they paid and got nothing for.
And asked for nothing, I might add.
Yeah. I mean, none of this makes any sense on any level except cruelty and a grift and a power grab. And hopefully people are going to wake up and see it. But I really wonder at this point if they will. And, I don't think the media did us any favors by like normalizing this. Every time they wrote about the bill, they would call it the big beautiful bill instead of saying the allegedly big beautiful bill or the so-called big beautiful bill. They took it seriously, big beautiful bill. No, that's fucking ridiculous.
And nasty, because
Trump has just managed to control the narrative, and everybody has fallen into line. Lisa Murkowski, I don't feel sorry for you. You fucking knowingly sold out the country so a couple of special interest groups in your state wouldn't get screwed. Disgusting. You people have no moral compass. You have no spine. There's no backbone. It's pure out greed and cowardice. It's absolutely sickening.
And again, I'm going to keep coming back to the lack of reading of this bill. Just as an example, 4% of Americans make $1 million a year. 51% of our Congress are millionaires. So right off the bat, they're not relating to us. Here's the new, beautiful, amazing tax bill. If you make $27,000 a year, your taxes will go up $790. If you make $50,000 a year, your taxes will go up about $1,500. If you make $200,000 a year, your taxes will go up $610. Here's the kicker. If you make $1 million, your taxes are going to go down about $36,000. Thank you. Thanks a
Yeah.
lot, everybody. He liked to talk. He talked in Iowa about no tax on tips. There's no tax on tips if you make less than $25,000 a year. That's only on cash tips, which generally people pay with a credit card, as we talked about. You write in the tip. You're not going to be able to hold that back. But 25,000 isn't a lot, and if you're a server and you're hustling and you're making tips, you're going to make more than 25,000, so you will be taxed. Plus, it expires in 3 years, whereas the permanent tax cuts for the uber wealthy are forever.
Yeah.
Permanent.
Like herpes. They're forever.
Yeah. They also eliminated, which I know you have done in the past, filing with direct file through the IRS. Gone. Can't do it.
That's ridiculous. That's just such bullshit.
It's the most popular program the IRS has, and they eliminated direct file. So now you can't act as your own CPA. And on top of that, in order to get the deduction on those tips, you have to itemize, and it takes away your standard deduction, which for somebody making 25,000, that standard deduction is $15,000. Yeah. Good luck coming up with itemizing to get to that $15,000. It's tough.
It's really tough. Yeah, it's near impossible, I would say.
And then the last giant lie was about Social Security. It wasn't in the bill at all. He said, I cut taxes on Social Security. He didn't. It's not in the bill. It's not in the big, beautiful bill. It's just a no, it's not there. I don't know what to tell you. And I can tell you through our own experience, mom's Social Security is taxed. So it didn't go away, but it also wasn't added in this bill. You're already being taxed on it. What do you want from me?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, just for those in the back who maybe don't quite understand, but here's an easy guide to Trump. His lips are moving. He's lying. Simple as that.
It's across the board. I'm sorry to keep coming back to these statistics, but I feel like if I put numbers on something, it makes a little bit of a difference. Just to close on that part of it, if you buy a private jet, it's fully tax deductible. But if you're going to law school and you need to take loans, which is very normal, law students are capped. They can't borrow more than $50,000 a year, which is really going to make it hard for them because law school is pretty expensive. I don't know if we just don't want any more lawyers or what the rationale behind that is.
My guess is that they only want wealthy kids from good, conservative, wealthy Republican families to go to law school. That would be my guess. And again, it's fascinating. If you look back at the Nazi hierarchy and the SS, it's filled with lawyers.
Okay. And you said that 6 months ago, which was terrifying.
Yeah, it is, because that's who you have now. That's who wrote these laws. That's who came up with Project 2025. And that's the generation of law students they want. They want these kids going. That's my guess anyway.
And they wouldn't need to borrow more than $50,000. That's an excellent point. Yeah, it makes sense.
They don't want someone who wants to be a public defender, who wants to be an environmental defender, criminal attorney, unless it's a white collar criminal who votes Republican. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so.
I think you're pretty spot on. I just didn't really put that together. You wouldn't need the money at that point. So makes a lot of sense. I'm going to put this woman up because we're talking about DEI hires, people not qualified. It's Linda McMahon. She is a real beaut. She's doing all this for her grandkids, who I'm sure are in private school. Regardless, and don't really care about public education, but she's the face of public education. She abruptly blocked a release of $7 billion that was set to be distributed on July 1st. Congress had already approved these monies. Some of the programs, there were 6 grant programs that were covered under this money. After school and summer learning were one of them. I don't know what you do when school lets out. A lot of kids go to camp if you can. Some people go to summer school. English language learning was also cut. They don't want this. And professional development of teachers, because we just don't respect our education system or the people that are willing to educate your kids. They spend all day with these kids,
Hmm.
trying to educate them, teach them not just A, B, C, D, and reading. It's they spend the most time with your kids, and you're
Yeah.
underestimating what they do and what they bring to the table. It's just insane.
Well, the powers that be do not want an educated population because educated people have critical thinking skills. They think for themselves, they ask questions, they want answers. When you're ruled by an authoritarian figure, that's not good. They don't want that.
It's pretty unbelievable.
So, and it's just amazing to me how Congress, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, how you can allow the executive branch to overrule your authority when it comes to spending. You control the purse strings. That's in the Constitution.
Mike Johnson gave him the gavel to pound. You basically handed the legislative authority to the executive branch. You did it, Mike.
Yeah, it's disturbing. It's such a circle jerk and a clusterfuck. I mean, Mike Johnson's a despicable human being. That guy is, you got fake tough guys and you've got fake Christians, and some people are both.
Yeah.
But my guess is that there's
Look too
nothing in
tough.
uh, the Christian doctrine of actual Christ-like things that say steal from the poor, take all the power, keep it for yourself. I'm pretty sure that's not in there.
Well, and he
But what
talked
do I
about
know?
your freedom and stuff. If you're counting on the federal government for your freedom and lawmaking, it's really about God. Maybe you didn't see that coin that says "In God We Trust."
Ugh,
All about God. Really? God's bringing me freedom. Like, what is wrong with you? Why do I even elect you? Why are you here then? Why do I
seriously, who
pay
elected that
taxes? Why
guy?
do I pay your salary if all I have to do is be, cool with God?
I
That should
liked
be
it
enough.
better when he was a nobody from a nothing state that nobody had heard of or cared about.
Yeah, me too. Why is he here? He's the
Yeah.
worst person ever.
In the words of Johnny Sack to Christopher Moltisanti, why are you talking? You used to wait in the car.
That I like.
Hmm.
Lastly, in that stupid bill, which everybody hates, to be direct about it, the $25 billion Golden Dome. Hmm?
Oh my God, yeah.
Now, to your reference on the monorail, um, they feel like high speed rail is a real boondoggle, but the Golden Dome sounds like something that could actually work.
Yeah.
Have you been outside of this country? Have you ever taken the train system in any other foreign country? Japan, it's amazing. The light speed rail. We saw it in Italy. I mean, the trains do run on time. Do they have service issues? They're used that much that yeah, you're going to have some issues with them. But
Like
the rest of the
Amtrak doesn't.
world understands public transportation and getting around, not a golden dome to protect against what exactly? I mean, did we not talk about the defense budget? Give me a fucking break.
Yeah. And they want to emulate Israel's Iron Dome, but Israel's a country the size of New Jersey.
Size of your fucking pinky. Yeah.
Yeah, compared to this country. And second of all, who's launching missiles at us?
Yeah.
Because if it does come to that, everything is over anyway.
Yeah.
The curtain's coming down on everybody because once that first missile hits the air, everybody's launching. That's
Yeah.
the end of it. So I just don't see that as being a valid concern. And third of all, I mean, experts have said that this is a pipe dream. There's no real plan for this. There's barely even a concept for it, like Health's Trump plan. Oh, I've got a concept of a plan. But you're going to invest billions of dollars in some fantasy. I mean, they did the same thing under Reagan with their Star Wars missile defense system that never worked.
So yeah,
It's not a thing.
it isn't. And the rockets that are shot at Israel are a lot different than what the Soviet Union would be fucking launching at us. Give me a break.
Yeah. No, I mean, if Trump wants to dig into his pocket and build the Golden Dome over Mar-a-Lago, have at it.
He should too. That would be great.
That would be fantastic. But yeah, to spend more public money, billions of dollars, while you're cutting services, taking away people's health care, taking away their food stamps, cutting education, to invest in this fantasy project is just insane.
And it is, you need a project like 2025 to really piece this together. Now, first of all, they're 50% through what they're trying to do. But
Mhm.
another example would be the Department of Homeland Security intelligence arm. They're going to cut 3/4 of their full-time employees. Um, they're going to take the intelligence and analysis employees from 1,000 down to 275. Now, I
Why?
don't know how much they make. Well, I mean, who needs intelligence and analysis when you rule the world like this?
No,
Huh?
we'll just go with the dear leader's gut instinct, and Whiskey Pete will do whatever he says.
Or we'll do whatever he feels like, kind of when he stopped missile Patriot missiles from going to Ukraine because he thought it might be not the best idea,
Yeah, I didn't feel like it.
and he was wrong because it was already approved by Congress. It was supposed to go there.
Again,
Trump
this
is
shit
a
is so
surprise to
illegal.
everybody.
And Hegseth's always wrong. He's like the reverse George Costanza. Always wrong.
Is that what you were thinking about doing, George? Do the opposite.
Do the opposite, yeah.
I mean, this in the end, this ends up being the largest upward transfer of wealth in American history. You'll never see this again. So enjoy the
Man.
show while it lasts because people are going to be hurt and people are going to feel it pretty darn quickly. We've already seen where they're talking about in the fall when you're looking to get your rakes and your shovels and your back to school stuff. Those containers are already empty and not coming from China. So buck up. I don't think we all need a bunch of shit, but the point is that you didn't get to choose that. Your dear leader did with these stupid tariffs. He mentioned that we're going to have some more tariffs coming up. He just made that deal with South Korea, which was amazing, amazing. We're not going to charge them anything, but they're going to charge us to get into their markets. I think 20%. And you know how much the South Koreans are buying our shitty products.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that even a deal?
Such a deal maker and so much winning.
It's amazing.
Yeah, if you
People
voted
like,
for
"Oh,
this, you're going to feel it. You're not exempt unless you're a billionaire. You are going to feel it.
oh, there's no doubt. You can't help it. And some of it's going to probably just be a minor inconvenience, nothing too big. But
But it all adds up, though. Okay, so your tax bill goes up, the cost of your groceries goes up, the cost of your health care goes up. Now, in and of themselves, every one of those, each individually, hopefully they wouldn't affect you too much. But you put it all together, and your monthly expenses just go up.
and what about your salary? Is that going up?
Yeah, no, that is not. Wages are stagnated, and that's if you have a job.
Yeah, maybe you
So you better hope you can keep that job. Because, contrary to the jobs report that was released by the White House, those numbers are fudged.
How could you tell?
Because everything that has to do with him that comes from that fucking cesspool of disinformation is a fucking lie.
I mean, they lost 33,000 jobs. Then all of a sudden they gained 144,000 jobs. 100,000 of those jobs were government jobs. And the Wall Street Journal editorial board came out and just questioned all the numbers. Where do these numbers come from?
Yeah.
I mean, they're just fudging and now making up numbers. So
Yeah, when the Wall Street Journal is calling you, it's a very right-leaning publication, and when they're calling your figures into question, you're full of shit.
and they weren't the only ones, but
No.
people just don't want to believe it, so they won't. But like you said, you can fudge the numbers for how long is really the question before people start to feel it.
Yeah, I mean, when you're writing your monthly bills, you may not want to believe that the balance in your checking account is actually what you have, but write those checks against what you think what you have and what you actually have and see what happens.
Yeah. I've noticed it the last 6 weeks. I mean, there's just no question. My shit's more expensive. And I
Yeah.
just have to pare down a little bit on that one.
Yeah, and it's a vicious cycle because then, consumer confidence drops, people stop buying,
Oh, sure.
and then, then companies start to lay people off. They start to cut their budgets. They'll cut their advertising budgets. They'll cut their production budgets. They'll cut their sales forces. I mean, it's just a vicious cycle. And these people that pass this bill do not give a damn. They do not care.
Their paycheck continues to come.
And their
We've
health
already
insurance.
lost $60 billion in tourism already. It's only July 5th. And if you don't have tourists coming in, you don't have to hire seasonal workers type of thing. Trump just also bragging in Iowa that he's going to add to the federal parks if you're not from America, you're paying more. We just jacked up the rate on these foreigners coming and going to our national parks.
Oh, it's
Um,
unbelievable. And meanwhile, they wanted to sell off the national parks.
yeah, well, we can do that because nobody from overseas is going to come see them, and soon we won't be able to travel there anyway because we just won't have
Yeah,
cash.
dude, I
Uh,
wouldn't come to this country.
and I don't know why you would. I can't imagine. He went on a big rant about FIFA and bringing the Olympics, and how it was all him, and nobody could do it except for me, and I made the call, and Trump, 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 Trump.
Yeah,
Why? Why bother coming at this point? That's going to be the worst experience ever. It reminds me of having them in Nazi Germany, essentially.
yeah, that was an interesting one because they took down all the anti-Jewish propaganda signs that they had posted, and they took their neck off the Jewish population and let them live a normal life for the 2 weeks that the games were in town. Yeah, they cleaned it up, they whitewashed it, and then the minute the games were over, it was back to business.
Let's fire up those incinerators again, please.
Well, and that was before it even started. That was 1936, right? So the Holocaust didn't officially begin. They didn't kick it off. I mean, they invaded Poland in 39. Uh, and the Wannsee Conference, where they all got together and decided how they were going to handle the Jewish question, I think was in 41.
Okay. When did the Hungarians start disappearing? It was about 350,000 Hungarian Jews. What year would that have been?
I want to say 44.
Okay.
But yeah. So, yeah, it's crazy. But, I guess my point is that the propaganda war and the discrimination against the Jewish population had started long before they started hauling people off.
Gotcha.
It was passing laws. Jews can't sit on a park bench. Jews can't go to the movies. Jews can't work in the fields of medicine or law. Jews can't marry Gentiles. Jews can't date Gentiles. It was basically a system of laws called the Nuremberg laws that they got when they sent Nazi lawyers to the American South to study the Jim Crow laws. That
You're
is a
right.
true story. That is a fact. That's where they got that from. And then before they started gassing Jews, they started gassing people with disabilities, crippled people with
Mental
mental.
retardation.
They would round them up and they would gas them, and then they would send the ashes back to the surviving family in a box.
Thanks, guys.
And again, that was based on an idea called eugenics that we had started here in the US in the Appalachia area to sterilize people who were not of good breeding stock. So
We're
basically,
in America, baby.
yeah. So they got that idea and they took it a step further. Yeah, it's just sickening, the cruelty.
Since you brought this up, I'm going to go with the 10 stages of genocide. Number 1, classification. People are divided into us and them. Number 2, symbolization. People are forced to identify themselves. Number 3, discrimination. People begin to face systematic discrimination. Number 4, dehumanization. People equated with animals, vermin, disease. Oh, we've got that one.
Trump's done that before, yeah.
Number 5, organization. The government creates specific groups, police/military, to enforce these policies.
Sound familiar? Who
Number
was
6,
that masked man?
polarization. The government broadcasts propaganda to turn the populace against that group. Fox, Newsmax, etc.
Yep.
Now, here's where we are now, because we're at number 7. We only have to get to 10. Number 7, preparation. Official action to remove and relocate people. And now I will say 8 that's coming up is persecution. So you beginning of murders, theft of property, trial massacres, stuff like that. I won't go any further, but we're at number 7 out of 10. So we really better start paying attention, because number 10 is government denial.
Didn't happen.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that's where Trump is going to break the playbook, and he'll be like, it's the greatest genocide ever. We've killed more people than anybody. Hitler's very jealous because this is the best. He'll take full credit for it. Or he'll just say, I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to have a say anyway, because you won't be having any more elections.
Yeah. I mean, this is just, it's time to wake up. And I think a lot of people are awake. It's
I think
just
so
that,
too.
sadly, the Republican Party has drank the Kool-Aid. They're all in. This is Trump's party. You can't argue that. They'll do whatever he says. Some of them sold out for a signed hat
That
or a
was
shitty
the
shirt
difference.
from the fucking pro club, the pro
Now,
shop.
do we think this is real Melania? She seems a little too happy. Now, I don't know if she's been
Yeah.
promised something, but I see when he went in for the big kisserino, you see her hand. There was a little pushback. He just couldn't get in tight enough. Now, she did make him take that stupid hat off, but I really just am having trouble visualizing if that is the real one. She seemed a little too happy. Then maybe she has been told the end game, or she'll be the queen forever, or never have to spend time with the king, because that's how it used to be back in the day.
Yeah.
But very bizarre on 4th of July that we have all this going on. This was after all the flooding. The byline underneath on Fox, while they're showing these two, is talking about the missing campers, and we had a major event going on, and he figured it was a great time to go in for the big kiss. I don't know. It seems kind of out of place and out of touch with what was actually happening.
Yeah, she looked way happier than she usually does when she's next to him. So I don't know. Maybe they made a deal. Maybe he's like, listen, you go back to New York if you want to. Just join me on this. Look happy. Let me
I'll put
lay,
another $500,000 in there. Is that worth
yeah,
it?
give you a little $500,000 traveling bonus, and then you can go back to New York.
It's crazy. I just just I don't know. I guess it's bread and circus is what Granny K used to say, and I can't say that she's wrong.
Yeah.
Is it entertaining? I guess it is to some. They really feel it. I think it's super, but I'm
It's
not.
entertaining until it affects you,
Yeah, good point.
and it's going to affect a lot of people.
There's no doubt. Well, those are some pretty harsh numbers today. I think it was necessary. I think the more information that we gather and shed light on, that people can make an easier decision as to, hey, this seems kind of wrong for me. I'm not in that group. My taxes went up somehow, even though I make nothing. My healthcare sucks regardless. Um, you know, again, maybe a coming together type of thing. So that's the hope, and that's kind of the rationale with breaking it down so much.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Yesterday was the 4th of July, and it's supposed to be celebrating the birth of a country that was created by people that didn't want to toe the line, that called out, an aristocrat, a king that thought he could make all the rules, and actually fought a war against it. I mean, that's who that's who we are as a country. I mean, that's our roots. People that asked questions, saw a situation that wasn't working for us, and demanded our rights and our freedom.
Separation
And
of church and state. Go on.
yeah, all of these things. So I don't know how things got so twisted, but it'd be great if we could untwist them somehow.
I think so too. And I think most people aren't looking for a king as much as they may want to be pushed around. I don't think that that's the correct way of going about it.
Yeah, nobody wants a king. You know what? You want to be pushed around, hire a dominatrix. Somebody that'll slap your balls with a belt and, call you a dog.
It's
Have
out
at
there.
it. No judgment.
For
You do
now,
you.
for now, it's available in this country. I don't know. Mike Johnson's in charge if that's still going to be a thing. But
Listen, I don't know what's going on in Mike Johnson's house. Him and that guy living together. No telling. And again, no judgment. You do you, Mike.
yeah, but quit projecting on everybody else what you think.
Seriously, yeah.
All right. Well, to that point, and I know you've suffered long enough. We're at the happy ending phase. I did want to put up a quote, or at least share a quote with you from Pope Leo the 14th. He said, "To be called woke in a world that sleeps through suffering is no insult. It is the gospel. Woke means awakened by compassion, guided by truth, humbled by grace, committed to justice, not just for some, but for all." This is a guy that gets it. This is a guy that's sending bishops into these facilities to make sure that these immigrants are getting a fair shot or trial, or not just getting scooped up. I think it's pretty impressive, and I'm not religious at all, and I'm not Catholic, but I can respect what this guy's bringing to the table, and he's speaking truth to power. It's
Absolutely,
impressive.
yeah. I think that's awesome.
So I hope nothing bad comes of him, for sure.
Yeah.
Another happy ending is Mark Green, a Republican from Tennessee, and the House resigned today. I wish he would have done that before the votes came down, but now the Republicans have an advantage of one single vote in the House. Thanks, Mark Green, for doing nothing but getting out. I'll take
Yeah,
that.
your timing sucked, but I'm glad you're gone.
And then my last one, and I don't know if I have a photo of it, probably not. But this is a bit of a happy ending, and it'll probably go away because it has to do with research. But they found that wisdom teeth contain a unique stem cell that can form cartilage, neurons, and even heart tissue.
Oh,
So they use it to harvest and regrow bone, like I said, heart tissue, and even neurons. It is something that they're just scratching the surface of. Um, I don't have wisdom teeth.
I do.
Maybe we can still save you yet, but
That would be nice.
it would take a lot more research to do this. I don't know that as a country that we're still into that.
Yeah, no, not so much.
But to be able to do those three things, I mean, we have so much cardiac arrest in this country, we have so much obesity, which is a strain on the heart. To be able to regrow tissue, bone. I mean, it'd be a phenomenal thing if it was something we wanted to dig into. And I really hope that other nations will, because currently we're not. It's not here.
That'd be a big deal. Did it say anything about cartilage?
It did. It talked about reforming cartilage, neurons, heart tissue, and bone.
Because that would be huge. I mean, I've got bone-on-bone arthritis in my shoulder just from, wear and tear and being engaged in fitness and sports and, a hockey year-round for the past 12 years. So that would be huge. I'm glad I kept those stupid wisdom teeth.
For now.
So yeah, let's speed that up.
We may have to send you overseas to have anything done about it, but to me, I was looking for anything positive. As we talked about yesterday, it was kind of a rough day. We certainly respect.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's because everybody was under the weather, but it just did not feel like the 4th of July.
It was hard to celebrate, and like I said, the day before, we kind of, you're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. They're not going to pass the bill, and then a couple of hats get signed and a T-shirt, and then you're done. It's over. It's done.
Yeah.
That was a lot, and there was a lot
some
of
schmuck gets a shitty golf shirt made at a Chinese sweatshop from Mar-a-Lago, and he's going to throw his vote Trump's way. Way to go.
Well, I hope people don't forget that. But
yeah, I hope not.
Nonetheless, we'll see. It's all going to start back up on Monday, and we'll see what comes next. It's always interesting, that's for sure.
Can't wait.
Well, Billy, I hope you feel better. I appreciate you suffering through this part. I know you weren't 100%, but I certainly appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you, buddy. Nice job.
All right, thanks. Well, I will catch up with you later, and all right, talk to you later.
Oh, yeah.